Hello, stream. How are you? How have you been? I've took a day off. I did play a little bit of. I just hurt myself on stream. Sorry. Uh, that's kind of awkward. Um, I played a little bit of Octopath Traveler 2. Have you played Octopath Traveler 2, LaFine?
I haven't, no.
Yeah,
But I mean, I've heard good things.
it's actually pretty good. I haven't played the first one, and you probably if you've been following my tweets, Square Enix just doesn't know how to keep me shutting up about games. But anyways, I had some good rest yesterday. Uh, I did come a little bit late from work today, but it was a good productive day, and also to kind of share good news that the main LAN event for Flash Ops Holiday Showdown in Korea, with featuring the best teams in Korea, Japan, and Southeast Asia, are sold out. And I guess Overwatch is not dead yet. Well, fine.
Let's go.
Hey, yeah. So today I also want to introduce a team, which is, let me just have my internet browser on, and Wikipedia. Oh, not this tournament. Uh, there we go. We are looking at ISOHAN today. Um, so we have Aunt, Pelican, Callius, Charles, Vigilante on the starting rosters here, and then we have Merit and someone on the bench. But definitely, I don't know to disrespect to any of these players, but Merit and someone are not there, are not on the bench because they're not good or anything. They're just benched because they're in Saudi Arabia right now.
Yep. Yep. I mean, actually, Ans is technically a coach, I believe.
Yes, correct.
And is kind of just filling in for Merit while while he is playing.
Well,
I think
he's waiting
done
for
pretty well.
Merit to do bad in Saudi Arabia and come back. Well,
I'm
he's
pretty sure.
not.
Yeah, I think they're like what, like top 4 or something like that.
Um, let's find out. Season 2. They're in F16, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
They are. And F16 is in the lower brackets.
Yeah.
But they're still in. So they're top 4 so far.
Yeah.
And RC, who are they going against? They're going against Bernard and Psycho. So we'll see how that goes. I do have a tad of a feeling that some of the guys from ISOHAN might be wishing for a F16's loss.
Damn. They're preying on their teammates' downfall so they can
play together.
they can play together.
Well, we've seen ISOHAN a few times already. I think we saw their games against the recent Team 815 match, and also we've seen them play against O2 High School and Runaway.
Yes. We also saw I believe ISOHAN was one of the teams we covered their
Smurfs.
Their qualifiers first.
Yes, day 2 of qualifiers
and then,
with the Smurfs. We actually saw a lot of this team. So,
yes.
How would you not just rate their roster, but also the matches that we've been seeing? What do we expect? What should we be expecting from this team?
I mean, from ISOHAN, because they're running Kalios and Ans, the expectation is that they're going to run like the Sigma most of the time. This has actually been the interesting thing about Flash Ops Korea, is that for the most part, we're actually seeing dive as the prevalent. And by dive, I do mean like the Doomfist-based composition most of the time. But there are a few outliers that are playing Sigma as kind of the go-to setup. ISOHAN is one of those teams. O2 High School obviously is the other main one. And then from there, after that, it's kind of like a grab bag of like what teams are going to be running, whether it be dive or whether it be some sort of flexibility, like different setups. But Flash Ops Korea has been markedly different than every other region in this aspect. The other regions have been mostly trying to, especially after the success of World Cup, right? We've seen a lot more like poke esque compositions around the Sigma. I think Korea has been the region that has stayed true to history and played mostly dive in this way through, except for teams like ISOHAN. So yeah, I think the expectation here is to see ISOHAN continue running, Sigma continue running that kind of style in gameplay today.
And I think it's really interesting to point out that even though if they do run the same Sigma composition, I think they have a different, I guess, style of Sigma composition with O2 High School, because when I was looking at O2 High School's games, it looked like they were almost playing a rush composition with the Sigma, whereas ISOHAN with Ons and Pelican kind of it looks a little bit more like the poke composition that we've been seeing in other regions, right?
Yeah.
So it's really interesting to see how I guess maybe it's just a meta read, or maybe it's just, I guess, kind of a forced composition because of the limitations that they have due to two of their, I guess I would say their best players, two of their best players playing in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, I will also say, like, compared to O2 High School, right? ISOHAN is not O2 High School, despite spending a year, like, vaguely separated from each other, right? O2 High School as a roster won a contenders title, with that kind of team. So they had some prior experience in a meta that required you to be all on the same page and had played together for so long. And obviously with Flash Ops Korea, it's a much more limited scope of the of kind of the timeline. You don't have time to like become a perfect team in a couple of weeks worth of gameplay. So I think ISOHAN is also kind of trying to shore up some of the elements of that can be masked with longer and longer practice time together. And I think they've done actually a pretty good job. Some of the games that we've seen from them looked very very competitive. Even I think really the exception was O2 High School, where O2 just felt like they were on a different level at that particular point.
Yeah, and also one thing to point out is that they're coached by Krusty. We have a lot of things to say about Krusty as well, because he has a lot of history. This is a man with a lot of history. He's been coaching the San Francisco Shock and the Boston Uprising. Of course, he hit some recent lows with the San Francisco Shock. But still, if you look at his coaching career, like he has been a runner-up and winner of entire Overwatch League, and he's been in 2019 and 2020. He won the Overwatch League 2 years in a row.
Yes. I think in terms of like rings, he is the winningest coach in Overwatch, like in Tier 1 Overwatch history, right? And then even when you include like tournament wins, he's still in rarefied air. There's like maybe 3 coaches in all of Overwatch that can mirror him in terms of accolades, right? It's like Krusty, Rush, and I guess technically Moon has similar like championship rings, but
yes,
but like I mean, Krusty and Rush I think are like a step above everyone else in terms of what they've been able to accomplish over time, right? They're not one-hit wonders.
Yeah, the question is gonna be like, is the recent, I guess, slump or I guess stumbles from the San Francisco Shock is a coaching issue? Because a lot of people has been talking about it, and of course we've seen ISOHAN, this team be at a very we've seen the highs and lows of this team, so it'll definitely be interesting because we had a week and a half since ISOHAN played their last match. They're playing this weekend as well. They're fighting for survival and their last spot ticket as the Korean representatives for the APAC finals. It'll definitely be interesting to see what they have in store, and of course this is going to be we're taking glimpses of their replays, but will definitely be interesting to see what their weaknesses are and what their strengths are.
Yeah, And actually, I mean, their upcoming games are, even if they make it into the lower bracket semis, their games do not get easier, right? Some of the teams that they have to play stepping in. So yeah, it's going to be, I think we're going to get some interesting insight today, and then we'll be able to make some educated guesses about what their games this weekend might look like.
All right. That's I guess that's enough for our preview. Let's drop straight into the game. We have had our first map ready, and well, I have the match captions on already, but this is going to what? Wait, no, this is the wrong match. Excuse me. Sorry, my bad.
O2 High School Part 2.
No, it's let me just excuse me for a second. Sorry for the delay. It should be because
it was a Lijiang Tower game. It was a Lijiang Tower game.
Oh, wait. Why do I have? Let me check. I have too many Legion Towers here.
Yeah.
Nope.
Nope.
It should be on the far downside. I don't understand why this is. Maybe it's because it's in the order of the match played. Oh, this is it.
Hey, there we go.
Yep. So as you can see, we're having Pelican Aunts, Kalias, Charong, Vigilante. They're going against XERO. We've been also covering a lot of XERO, and I'll say, like, we haven't seen XERO win a lot of like terrible amount of matches, but they have proven that they're actually competitive against the I guess most lucrative rosters that we've seen. Overwatch has seen, right?
Yeah, I think they're a little bit unlucky because they're in that like kind of no man's land where they're not quite good enough to beat like some of the elite teams, but they're definitely competitive with them, right? I mean, it makes sense, right? We've seen these players play against some of the top tier teams before. Obviously, Knife and Attack. Opener has been in the Overwatch League as well. Irony too. Sunjin is the only one who kind of hasn't been in that tier 1 gameplay.
Yep.
Mostly because of his age, not because he's not talented enough to do it.
All right. Like we said, we're seeing a clash of the Doofus Dive versus the Sigma composition that, well, I guess ISOHAN very vastly prefers, right? And
this is the rush version of that composition, right? With the Mei Symmetra, which we see a lot of on Lijiang Tower. This is not unexpected. It does a really good job of space control, and especially against this particular Doomfist setup. Both the Mei and Symmetra put a lot of pressure onto the characters that want to get in. I mean, like the Genji, like the Doomfist, and it makes the supports work overtime, and actually makes the Sojourn have to be kind of the carry player, I think, in this setup.
Okay. So let's also talk about what XERO has in setup. Remember, this is day 2 of the qualifiers, so this is like in terms of time, this is a earlier game. And how do you think about the Genji pick here? What value does the Genji offer? A lot of value in this competition? Of course, yes. The Blade is having a lot of value here. We've also talked about this various times with different teams. To be honest, I'm not like a personal fan of the Genji, especially against this composition. But like,
yeah,
how would you kind of like, what kind of value would it provide?
I mean, historically, it hasn't had a lot of value, right? Like this is like one of the few. A lot of the time, it's about making sure you kind of like engage, get an elimination, get out. In this kind of setup, so far it's been okay, but it requires a lot of attack and knife to be on the same page, and if they're not, they just get blown up. So that's a tough fight too for XERO. They use Rally, and yeah, you're just not staying alive through Photon Barrier and Matrix. It's a tough play there for.
And this is a really clever setup by ISOHAN as well, because, well, yes, this fight probably is not going in the way that ISOHAN wants it to go, but they were kind of trying to defend far up and have XERO kind of expend their ultimate resources so that they can have the follow-up fight on their way. but it looks like I think there was a little bit of miscommunication on the side of ISOHAN because they used their ultimates as well and they lost that fight. So it, like, in the end, defending far front up wasn't as effective as they wanted it to be, and they're changing it to the Jungle Queen composition.
I wonder, because Kalios uses the Gravitic Flux at some point in that fight, but I don't know if I didn't see, it didn't look to get any value to me, so I wonder if he got stunned or something like that happened.
That Once used the Blizzard, but it doesn't look like we had any value from that either. I don't really want to go as far as to say they kind of threw away ult, but we're definitely seeing ISOHAN not making the most out of their ultimates here, and it's kind of costing them fight after fight. And especially after that, they're making wholesale changes to their composition. It looks like at 70% controlled by XERO, it's going to be like a very difficult fight for them to even win and take control of the point.
Nice Kitsune. The problem is that the opener, if you get this rally online, this is going to be a round closeout, I think.
Well, the opener did have the rally online, but it was a little bit too late for to save attack. However, Knife is still on fire, and it looks like I don't think anyone can touch on the side of ISOHAN.
Yeah, the Lucio Chorong not going to make it. Nice boop, and that's going to be it.
So, for me, this is kind of
like... got way up. He's in the skybox.
So, this is kind of like a weird round for ISOHAN because I think this was definitely winnable for the side of ISOHAN. It all got a little bit weird when they were defending far up forward. And what my thought process was that they kind of like semi-spawn camp XERO and forces XERO to use their ults while they don't. They kind of give up the point for like a few seconds. Now they have the ults. They can use their ults when XERO doesn't have ults, and then they can take back the point, which is then going to be probably final fight territory for XERO, and kind of take advantage of the desperation. It didn't happen. It kind of all went south when they started using their ults and still lost that fight. We've seen a little bit of this version of ISOHAN versus O2 Blast, O2 High School, when it looked like communication wasn't optimal. So this may be kind of like a ongoing concern for the side of ISOHAN.
Yeah. Sunjin, by the way, has really liked Junkrat on this point.
Oh man, again.
So far has had a 0% success rate, so here's hoping for something a little bit different.
So he's 0 out of 2 on Junkrat on Control Center, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Not only is he 0 out of 2, he's 0 out of 2 and it has looked bad. Like sometimes you're 0 to 2. It's it's not really your fault. The game just doesn't. It doesn't blow your way. But yeah, no, he has not looked good on the Junkrat when he's picked it.
Well, I mean, also right now he's at 38%. So while everyone else is like 60 to 70, so I guess he's not having as much fun. Well, that could be also said for the same for Ons as well. But in the end, they XERO had a little bit of fun in the earlier stages of the fight, but in the end, ISOHAN won that follow-up fight and took back control of the fight. It's Sunjin kind of like I can swear that his teammates are not happy with his Junkrat because he's just swapping right out.
It has to have worked in scrims because there's no way you would run out on a composition that just never works, right? Like, surely not. So
unless you don't have a coach, does XERO have a coach?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Let me check.
XERO. Oh, I don't have one.
I need to get that code from Door and have Fish observe because I can't tap out and look for stuff.
Yeah, we'll look after the map, I think.
Okay. That's kind of a decent flux, but because Ont is down, there is not a lot of follow-up damage to make any eliminations happen. And slowly, ISOHAN is just drying out of members, and XERO is going to take back the point. So 76%. Maybe if this fight goes the way of ISOHAN, it's going to be last fight territory. But with the overclock and the rally at the side of XERO, I don't really. This is gonna need to be a very good overclock from Ons if ISOHAN wants to take the point, or I mean, they can just take out attack.
Sunjin waited for a Hail Mary play there, and it did not work. Wait, they're just committing to this.
And I don't know. Knife is actually living for quite a while, and they actually and they managed to push ISOHAN back. Really impressive stuff from XERO.
That did cost them everything, though. They kind of need to get eliminations now before ISOHAN starts to kind of ramp up resource-wise.
Well, to be fair, Vigilante also used his amplification matrix, and it's just Choral with the rally, which doesn't exist anymore. So they're on even footing. Oh no, I'm sorry, Sunjin. No, they're not on even footing anymore.
And actually, Sunjin and XERO have actually stolen this round away. They are going to close the map out right here.
Yeah. It's 88%. Go ahead.
Sunjin's Sojourn makes me wonder why they keep rolling out a Junkrat first. Like, he's so good at this character.
Callius is up. He needs healing if he wants to live. There is that lamp to keep him alive. But Choro is down. Callius is very, very low and doesn't look like he's going to get any support. And he dies mid flux. And so that is actually going to be round and map for XERO. So that's something that we haven't expected. We like coming into this match, we thought that ISOHAN would be pre-match favorites, and there were times where they fighted like they kind of proved why they should be considered mechanically superior. However, some weird decisions on the side of ISOHAN and some weird maneuvers as well, some head scratchers, to say, kind of cost them the map, especially in Night Market.
Yeah, look, I don't want to, denigrate Ans at all, because he's, a legend of the game. He's won, a championship title, had one of the strongest seasons on Widowmaker we've ever seen, right? Like the peak of that character played at the professional level. But in the head-to-head, Sunjin was on Sojourn, I think, just opening up so much more space for his team. And I mean, part of that is because Sunjin has played, multiple professional matches, and I believe even won a tournament, like won a championship, like the NA Contenders title, playing that role on ping, no less, right?
The fielder treatment.
Yes, and Uns has not played very much Sojourn in his competitive career, right? So it's not
the Ash and the Widow.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not like exactly a fair comparison, but it is noticeable when you start to put a player that's just more comfortable on a role in play, and Sunjin just takes much more aggressive setups because he has the weight of experience to kind of back him up. He knows what's too far, what's not, what's the correct play, and I think a large part of why XERO were able to close out that map is because Sunjin was able to take kind of fights over.
And speaking of comfort, Ans is going to the Ash.
This is not unexpected though. We've seen, obviously this isn't the qualifiers, so we have the weight of history and this team doesn't. But we've seen a lot more Ash being played with the Sigma, especially on Blizzard World, where you can kind of hold space with the Ash. Just hybrid in general, because we see a lot of Midtown, considering how much Dive is played. But I think it still has a lot of use. I mean, look how much work that Dynamite is doing right now.
Yep. He swapped away from the Widowmaker, and he still has, well, except for the supports, he still has never mind. I was about to say that he might be the first DPS to get that ultimate down, but not if he's gonna be down. And interesting choice to see Knife on the Tracer. Again, I haven't been a big fan of this pick, especially because in this setup specifically, the Tracer is very difficult for Tracer to get a lot of healing resources. But maybe on the defense and on point A, where I guess the supports can have a lot of line of sight, even if the Tracer is kind of half semi-flanking, and maybe it can work out.
One thing about the Sojourn too, by the way, compared to the Ashe, is that you could just instantly kill someone with a railgun. Or essentially instantly kill someone. That burst potential is so strong.
So both fluxes. Oh, whoa!
This is the silliest flux combo I have ever seen. What are you doing?
So attack went up into the air by his own will, but he fell down against his own will, and fell to his demise. Sunjin providing a lot of value with the Sojourn. Yes, knife does fall, but it's a numbers. It's on the same numbers, even in the side of numbers here. Yeah, knife falls, so a lot of power going to the side of ISOHAN.
Ooh, oh. Vigilante doing the crab walk to dodge that rail. That was so close to being for his head big takeoff. That's so funny. Also, yeah, there's knife switching the Genji again, so off the Tracer. I think this first point is where the Tracer, I think, if my memory serves, we've obviously had a lot of games in the last little while, but Tracer's been played quite a bit on this first point. Yep. Less so on second.
Because remember, the second point is a lot more broad and it has a lot of elevation differences.
Yes.
That you can't just get up with blinks.
Yes.
Get up. So, again, remember this is a Sigma composition where it's relatively slow and hard to kind of like cover all the angles for the supports to cover all angles. So when the Tracer is flanking or something like that, it's very difficult for the Tracer to get resources, which may be the difference between just living and dying and these 1v1s. Hey, Hurricane. We're just having fun. Well, both windows are up. Not a lot. Yeah.
I was gonna say both hit scan are missing, but then Sunjin takes Vigilante down, so you know.
Sunjin heard you.
I mean, this is still not a great fight for XERO because like they're so disparate. Like they're not playing near each other at all, and they for some reason took a bunch of isolated 1v1s or tried to take 1v1s, and then ISOHAN just didn't let them.
Well, there's that fob to zone out XERO. I think that's I think that's also one of the reasons that I guess the Ashe has value here, because the Bob in certain angles can provide a lot of space and cover a lot of space, which can be sometimes hard in a immobile comp like this.
Damn. Oh, this.
Oh, good shot.
Yeah. There it is. Sunjin, please stop picking Junkrat. You're so good at this character.
Sunjin's just such a joy to watch when he's playing when he's on the Sojourn.
Yeah. And then he's I remember tearing my hair out. Because like he has such a good Sojourn, and then he was playing Doomfist.
And then he gets also relegated. Well, not relegated, but he also gets pigeonholed to support.
Look, I think he got pigeonholed into support. I think is giving him a lot more credit than he deserves. that game, those games were really frustrating to watch.
Well, just commenting on a little bit more on the game here. I think that XERO is showing a lot of good ultimate discipline right now.
Yeah.
They're spending ultimates only to the amount that they need to win these fights. And also, I think they're trying to match the number of ultimates that ISOHAN is using. So they're not using any more ultimates than ISOHAN is using. Even in the previous fight, Pelican and Ons all use their ultimates, right? If I'm not mistaken. The Ashe ultimate and I forgot what it was. And then they matched it with their two DPS ultimates. But weirdly enough, ISOHAN.
This is gonna be a tough fight for XERO. Yeah, this is gonna be a tough fight for XERO because they're not yet. They don't have the utility to kind of just put presence on the point, and so they can't really hold space as effectively. We need this Blizzard from Knife to be big. Good start. That's nice. That's a nice accretion.
He doesn't even need to have to use the Blizzard.
Yeah. Although getting these cleanup kills would be really. Ooh. That is not a great play move.
And it eventually forces attack into using his Flux Whip, because once they're committed, they need to win this fight. And now it's ISOHAN's turn to press the ultimates. Yes, Sunjun is always a big menace with this overclock, but with that photon barrier in play, and a lot of ultimates also used by the side of ISOHAN, I think this actually might be full cap for ISOHAN.
Yeah, 100%. The rally's not going to be enough to keep everyone alive. At least they get it down to like 30-ish seconds, 37 seconds. Also, to answer a couple of questions, the score is 1-0 right now. They won Lijiang Tower to open this map up, or match up. This is qualifiers, by the way, replay of qualifiers. So this is like a week ago, I think, at this point.
Yeah, kind of like 10 days.
Yeah, something like that. So, yeah. What are our favorite teams coming into this?
Favorites as meaning in like personal preference, or like favorites as in
expected to win the whole thing?
Yeah, expected to win the whole thing. Because I have two different answers for that.
I mean, let's go in reverse order. So who do you think was coming into this who was expected to win the whole thing?
Me, to be honest, I'm kind of going ahead Hamsters.
Okay.
Because they have they have tactical flexibility right now. I mean, O2 probably has a lot of flexibility in their DPS lineup as well, and they have a second tank. But like I mentioned on the O2 high school stream, that I have a little bit of doubt on whether Max and Junbin can actually play different things, because that's not what they've been showing at the San Francisco Shock. And also, even though if they have 4 TPS players, I believe that it's going to be the same 2 players unless it's a very specific map. Whereas Hamsters, it's whether you play Hanbin or Fearless, we can see very different styles of play. And even just with that, even with just Hanbin playing, he can both go with the Doomfist dive or the Sigma poke / rush, depending on which DPSs he's being paired with. So yeah, a lot of more tactical flexibility.
Also, Junker Queen can be played either way. So who's your personal favorite?
Personal favorite, I think my personal favorites would say, it's really hard to say. I want to say Smurfs, who's no longer here, who is no longer playing, but I would say Runaway.
Okay. I think coming into this, I think that the expected winners were like, I think Hamster was probably the team that people looked at and were like, this is the team that's probably going to be, you know, in the top echelons of this. I think the other team that maybe people would have been like in terms of name recognition, Smurfs would probably have been the other team that was like, oh, this team should make it far. But Hamster, I think, was probably the one that everyone would agree on. I mean, they've got like carry players at every position, right? As well as players that have been at the top end of their role for a couple seasons now too, right?
I agree.
In terms of the personal favorite, I don't think I actually had one. I was just kind of excited to see all the names, you know, play together. So.
Well, hey, that's a cheat answer.
All right, I'll go Hamster then. I like when there's like super teams made, so we'll see.
Interesting to see that Pelican is going towards the Tracer now. Remember, this is in direct kind of like contradiction to what we've been saying. We did not see. Oh, I want to see that one again.
I mean, part of this also is that XERO opens up on dive. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, they opened up on dive on the first point and just ran over the immobile backline or the immobile setup of ISOHAN.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the 20-second time skip.
I fell for it again.
Yeah, but I think Pelican's trying to mark Knife just a little bit here to make sure that he doesn't zone out. He makes it a little bit more difficult for attack to engage by himself. That is a nice stick.
Yeah, that is a nice stick.
Knife on low ping can actually play his character well. Lovely.
Oop.
This is going to be a massive time bank.
Can they even contest for a second?
They can because of that elimination onto attack, but it's going to be close. They're going to open up with Bob here on the point, I think, and then try and play for the respawn plus rally.
I think Soju kind of knows this.
Oh, they didn't get there in time.
Wait,
They were too late. They executed too late. The point was captured by the time Bob came out.
it didn't even matter that Bob was sleeping.
Yeah. Like, the play made sense, but, like, it took them too long to do it.
Kalios dying here is going to be very big.
Yeah.
It's gonna, I think it's gonna concede them until like the corner here.
I will say this is where the Sigma gets to be naturally more powerful on this map compared to the Doomfist, right? Because the reason why is the angle of escape for like the Doomfist is more punishable here, even with the high ground, because defensive you're engaging blindly into whoever's set up on the high ground, and you can't just hold space like you can on first and second. So. There is a chance here for ISOHAN to stall a lot of time.
Yes, I think one of the prerequisites for that is that they need to kind of use their ultimates very carefully.
The Brig just chases down the Nano Genji and makes sure he runs away. That's so funny.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that, Arnie. Nano, to be honest there. But it did end up having to bait out two ultimates from the side of ISOHAN, Kalios' Gravitic Flux, and Charles' Rally had to be expended. And at this point, I don't know. Even right now, I think ISOHAN has the upper hand in terms of ult value. They will be having the Nano Blade online, so that should be able. Yeah, that should be able to win ISOHAN's fight. Yep. Goodbye already.
Still trade for trade. So the question is, is there progress made on the objective? Yeah, that's. I like that play because you can still move forward. Not getting the Nano Blade was fine, but it's not clean enough, right? And losing the players means that you can actually turn this. How do you get the reset here?
I think it has to be Bob.
This Bob has to buy time. Yeah, just enough time for everyone to kind of re-stabilize.
But even after that, it's going to be really hard for the side of ISOHAN because Sunjun's overclock is coming up. And they can just, like, wait. Oh, the Bob is not even going to have a chance to get out of Ash's pocket because he is down and Sunjun is looking for blood, looking for heads to collect. And it was a body shot, but it doesn't matter because Charles will not be able to contest the point. The Bob, once again, is late and is stuck in a corner. Wow, XERO is having a much larger time bank than ISOHAN. I'm impressed with XERO here.
Yeah, no, this is really clean from XERO. I will say, though, this is where I get concerned for
ISOHAN.
Teams on secondary rounds. This first defense needs to be clean because if you get into overtime and your defense is forced to and you don't get the clean fight win early, there's a very large chance of overtime captures, right? And even though 249 is a lot of time, there's also a lot of time for mistakes. Yes.
We've seen teams with a bigger time bank lose at Blizzard World. And
yes,
I mean,
we saw
it was ISOHAN.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wasn't it ISOHAN who had a 4-minute time bank or something, and then they lost to O2 High School who had a minute or something?
Yeah.
I feel like that was kind of the setup that happened.
Is there a reason behind the Asher as a Showdown pick and the Pilatic choosing the weaker character? I'm gonna just pause the game here. Sorry, I want to get kind of talk about this for a little bit. Because sorry, my brain's just a single core CPU, and unlike the younger generation, I cannot do more than 2 things at once. I don't necessarily think that Ashe and Sojourn, especially now because Sojourn can't like just kill a 200 HP with just the railgun. It's no 100. The max damage is 195 now. I don't necessarily think that they like one's a weaker pick than the other. It just offers different value.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think they share. I mean, they share the same role, meaning the same player is going to play both of them. But I don't think they do the same thing anymore.
Yes. I think like I'm definitely sure that LaFine will elaborate a little bit on his opinion, but for me, we've been talking about this for a little bit while, especially we've been seeing a lot of Ashe on the Midtown, and I think it offers a lot of counter dive perspective. Like, I'm not saying that Ashe is an anti-dive character, but compared to the other hit scans, it has its own tools to survive, like at least buy time or stall against a dive. Namely
Well,
the
also
Doomfist.
keep in mind that when we've seen dive, especially on Midtown, in this particular tournament, right? I'm not speaking in the grand scheme of things, but like in this particular tournament, it's required a lot of blind staging on your approach. So essentially it requires you to use a cooldown that then, if it's disrupted, destroys the entire dive attempt, and you're forced to reset and go again. With the Ashe allows that to come into play without losing your own map control with the coach gun specifically. That plays into it on Midtown. Here on Blizzard World, Ashe has been inconsistent in that application, but we've also seen it like more on the offense from several teams rather than the default pick. So I would say on Midtown there's like legitimate tactical reasons for it. Again, that disruption alongside the fact that the AoE damage through blind spots is really useful, etc., etc. I think Ashe on Blizzard World has been markedly less successful.
I do think that I think one of the reasons that you might want to play Ashe on Blizzard World is that you pair it up with the Sigma, right? And
yes,
a lot of the times in Korean terms we kind of pull our butt back a little bit, which means it's a silly term, but you play a little bit back, like you control the ground that's around you, but it sometimes means that you give up the ground that's right in front of you, which if that makes sense, you play a little bit more far back. And
sure, yeah.
Bob kind of gives you, especially on maps like Hybrid that has the payload, Bob provides terrain, a little bit of terrain control, space control, and also contest. Like, you don't necessarily have to have anyone stick their neck out for the payload contest, if that makes sense.
Sure, yeah.
Because this like having a Sigma with the Sojourn or the Ashe essentially kind of makes it into a poke comp, like at least a half poke comp. And poke comps in nature feel uncomfortable if they are forced to close down the distance with their opponent. And one of the things that can force in the opponent's perspective, that can force a poke comp to come to you, is forcing the payload into a certain position, threatening the payload to be in a certain position, for example, capping, or forcing it into a certain corner. And I think Ashe could provide that value in a sense that they don't necessarily have to be in a disadvantaged / uncomfortable position, like to keep their comp characteristics alive.
All right.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny that it's the same comp. Like, you look at it, you're like, oh, that's a poke comp. It's really not. The truth is that a lot of the time the Sigma can be played, in that hybrid rush / poke style.
This is like, we're looking at one right now. Like,
yeah,
this
exactly.
is nowhere a poke comp.
This is not a poke composition.
Wait.
And we're also using Overwatch 1 terminology to describe Overwatch 2 composition, so that's part of it. But that evolution is going to come through eventually. That is a very fast cap here from ISOHAN.
Well, Kalios?
Kalios?
Okay.
How did you miss a rock point blank on a Sigma?
Let me text him after this. Remember, on my tweet, I legitimately said that I am going to expose him. We did.
Poor guy. He didn't sign up for this.
He did sign the contract with the New York Excelsior in 2021.
That's true.
So
he did.
He did.
Well, I was also gonna say, like, as part of signing for a tournament, you do, you know, admit to being broadcasted. So, in essence, you did actually sign up for this. Never mind. I take it back.
Well, overtime is here. Losing a member, if you're XERO, or any team in that matter, may mean the end of the round here.
Yeah, that is a bold teleport from Vigilante.
Well, maybe it's gonna work out.
The fact that it's only Chorong that dies is actually really good here for ISOHAN.
Oh,
they can turn this one. Maybe?
Nope.
Oh, never mind. Nice fight. That's, I mean, credit to XERO. That was very clean.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest though, it was to be expected a little bit, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't blame the teleport for that. I think that was they knew that they needed to do something unexpected if they wanted to win that particular fight.
No, I think it was just a good play from XERO to isolate an individual, then obviously build up the Blizzard, right? Not every play that ends poorly is a mistake. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It just happened that Vigilante went for a really aggressive play that we don't see very often, so it caught me out guard. That's literally it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a bit of a trap that people fall into when they see someone fail at something that it's the wrong play, right? But you know, that's not always the case.
Yep, I agree.
Actually, speaking of the NYXL, there's literally a perfect example of that.
I am
With
not
that-
going to
with
talk
that
to you
T.
anymore. I refuse to talk with you anymore.
I am then a defender.
Okay, I appreciate it. I know, I'm just joking.
That was the right play to make. If it succeeds, he looks like an absolute genius.
Mm-hmm. Well, we were.
So this is a poke. Yeah, this is a poke composition now from ISOHAN.
Yes.
Which makes sense because they're on the defense. And I mean, this is also plays into that conversation we're talking about in terms of the dive setup, right? When attack tries to engage, a disruption here is enough to set them out of sync so that they can the Mei can put up a wall and isolate a player, or you know, the combo can come in from like a Brig or something, or from the Sigma. So there's a lot here that can kind of be done. Plus, Dynamite wails away or whittles away resources. For example, the healing packs, repair packs from the Brig, right? So all that and more kind of play into it.
Kalios and the rest of ISOHAN is in pretty much trouble because I think that was a pretty good nade from the side of Arnie, and I think that's unless okay, never mind. I was about to say unless something very good happens for the side of ISOHAN, they were gonna concede the point, but also succeeded in stalling Irony long enough to
stalling for Pelican to return. There's only a small window here now. I mean, a minute 30 is not a lot of time. A nano play, I mean, you expect attack to get this one, I think.
I would assume so, unless it's gonna
attack
be
or knife. Yeah, one of the brawling characters that can get in close and actually deal damage with the nano without an ult of their own, right? Attack is probably just the easiest one because he's the hardest to burst down.
There's attack. Kalios.
Oh, he gets. Oh no, he's dead.
Oh, yep. Good ult from Kalios here, and then it's opener. Well, they know they're really committing to this because they know this is potentially going to be the last effective fight. And they make it work out.
Now, this is a bit of a gamble from XERO. They clutch the fight, so that's good, but they spend a lot. And Any fight that they fail here means that they're not going to get a clean reset with time remaining.
And with 40 seconds, that might mean everything.
So, I mean, the play here right now from ISOHAN is to slow the game down, force a final fight, and have Blizzard be operated on the objective. Keep in mind, there's no utility to deny against it except a deflect, which is not a really effective tool at all, right? Yeah, and they're doing exactly that. 18 seconds left. They're gonna force final fight territory.
Yep. And then there's It's denied. Then this is gonna be a different story because Knife has the Dragon Blade. No, but also good play from Chong to deny that. So both DPS ultimates denied, denied each on either side. On 6-hour attack, this is gonna be a disaster for XERO. It started so well, and then it's going all to shambles.
And Ant Matrix, so they can't keep the payload moving. They need a nano. They need it now, and they just aren't gonna get it.
No, they're not gonna get it. Oh my goodness. I thought the game was going to XERO because
I thought so too.
It wasn't even that Pelican died after using the ultimate. The ultimate got canceled because he died mid animation.
Yeah, mid cast, like mid animate. Yeah. Oh, that's so unlucky. Oh man, in a perfect world, there, I think XERO takes that extra like 2-3 seconds to get the nano so they can combo the overclock, but because attack dies in the corner, he can't touch the objective, so they need to pop the overclock early. It's a comedy of errors from XERO. Oh, that's so sad.
Wait, why can I not see? It's kind of like bugged out. Oh well. Just wanted to see that last fight again, but oh my, what a map that we had. Oh. Alright, that was fun.
That was fun.
I
mean, man, XERO is one fight away
from winning
from making knockouts.
Yeah. That was. I can't. I just really want to talk about the last fight again a little bit. Like, should have Knife pulled the Dragon Blade a little bit later.
I think that blade was a mistake. One of the things that we're seeing from like the elite Genjis in this setup, and this has been true for like basically this entire season, is that it's used after the rally, not before. Right, so that you know where the brig is basically committed to a certain line of play, whereas because you get that instant 100 HP, right? Yeah, the Kalio's defense play shuts down the overclock, but the real read is that XERO never give themselves the best opportunity in that final fight, especially after they cancel the Blizzard. So if you think there's a concept in sports called like win expectancy after events. So like during certain events, your expectation of winning goes up, and then after some it goes down. So like it shows you you plot basically a graph of the entire game, and then there's like events that make you go high or low. The chance of XERO winning after that Pelican Blizzard is canceled goes up, right? Because you eliminate a player, you take down a crowd control ultimate, and just an ultimate in general, so you get a very high chance of winning. At that point in time, XERO need to recollect and kind of take a back step for a moment to regroup, so they take another fight 5v4 and eliminate another player. You have to kind of snowball your advantage. Instead, XERO tries to do 1v4 with the blade, so now their advantage gets essentially the win percentage gets reversed, and now they're no longer in the lead in that sense. And then we get to a reset fight where it's 4v4, both teams had an ult cancel, and then all of a sudden with Bob, with Rally coming up, the win percentage flips way back into ISOHAN's favor. So I think a little bit antsy from XERO in that final fight. They see that elimination get through, they get really excited, and it ends up coming back to haunt them. So we'll see how well they're able to recollect for map number 3, because that mentally speaking can break a team. And obviously ISOHAN is much more rejuvenated. They were the worst team on Blizzard World, but they came out clutch in a couple of fights and end up taking that map away to even the series.
Yeah, just to kind of elaborate on LaFon's point here. I think, like after Pelican fell there, like the only way that the Dragon Blade was gonna get fucked up, excuse the language, was gonna be the brick stun, because there's no other way that no other tool from the side of ISOHAN that was going to negate / deny the value from the Dragon Blade, if I'm not mistaken. I think so, right? And I think it was just a little bit of XERO got a little bit excited. Maybe some calls got crossed in the heat of the moment. And I don't think it was necessarily a skill issue or like a tactical mistake or something like that. It was just, I think it's that, I guess, let's just say a lack of experience a little bit. I think they still have a little bit more experience.
Yep.
Well, I'm still genuinely impressed by how XERO's doing right now.
No, XERO's playing very well against ISOHAN Kim. I think, I mean, like I said, they're one fight away from having won this series. So,
and remember, it was they were leading the series 1-0, so winning that one fight would have given them a 2-0 win against ISOHAN.
Exactly.
All right. But enough of Blizzard World. We are going to New Junk City, and let's see how this map goes. Oop. Hello. Overwatch client. There we go.
I do not like this poke comp on Arena.
You mean on XERO?
Yeah. For first point, I do not like this comp.
Maybe, just out of speculation, maybe it was designed or planned against anticipating the Doomfist, because it looks like it.
No, but they would play. But it's not. But the thing is, it's their opponent who would be playing the, or they would be the playing the Doomfist, not their opponent. Because Kalios would not be picking Doomfist. Kalios has only shown Junker Queen and Sigma. And you can actually see the Junker Queen rollout is because they expect the Doomfist, right? So this is a comp that is designed to counter something that isn't going to happen.
Yep. But again, a lot of pressure. That forces out the lamp to keep Kalios alive, but Kalios is going down. Knife, a lot of damage on the side of everyone on ISOHAN. Despite maybe an unfavorable composition, they managed to win first fight and secure first point. And look at Attack's ultimate gauge here.
Yeah.
74%. He will be having, likely he will be having that gravitic flux mid-fight.
Yeah. No, that fight was Attack, Irony, and Knife just kind of taking space and crawling in close.
Early window from Vigilante, maybe to kind of zone out and provide the space for their teammates to get in. The spot.
That stairway is the perfect angle for none of the healing grenades to hit.
And also, that was a little bit unfortunate. And Sunjun here, look at him. I want to see this again. Wait, what?
Okay.
No, again.
This is entirely intentional. He definitely meant to do this.
That headshot into that coach gun kill, and then the headshot on Charles. That is fucking nasty.
The Lucio kill was really nice.
Yeah. That might be point earned by. I don't know. Charles still in spawn.
Yeah, what is Charles doing?
He's trying to taxi Kalios.
Oh yeah, because Kalios died last. So yes, that's right. I forgot that Kalios died last. With Kalios died last, no, they should be able to touch.
That's the blade, but does not do anything.
Okay, so
He's the one using a lot of ultimates here, but at the same time, Sunjun again. Well.
All right, I mean that's 3 ults for Photon Barrier specifically is the big one. Just denies damage from anything that ISOHAN can throw at them.
That was effectively 4 ults. I think what's gonna happen is that XERO is gonna take control of the point, and then after the fight after that ISOHAN is going to use their ultimates and take advantage of the fact that XERO just used all of their resources and regain control of the point. I think that's how. I mean, that's how it theoretically should happen, right? Oh no! Oh, On's almost taken down by that rally stun, and even with investing a few ultimates here, oh, that is a fat rampage. That's gonna win them the fight. I was about to say that even though On's uses ultimate, oh, poor Sunjun. Even though On's used the ultimate, they were forced to back down, which was not a good sign. But I think it did kind of set ISOHAN up for a perfect rampage. So I guess credit two ultimates in good use.
Yeah, no, that was really well played. The fact that you aren't able to get the elimination on the stunned players is what sort of denies that fight. And Vigilante's immortality field is a huge part of it. So, and then yeah, a free rampage setup.
There is attack.
This should be
one.
Okay.
Forces the lamp away. Not the best trade in the world. Pelican also taking down Sunjun, which is a big part of how Zero's win conditions. So Zero has to fall back, and Irony actually, holy cow! Chorong uses the sound barrier. Oh, and takes down Opener. What is happening?
Why is Opener up there by himself? What's going on here?
Is this gonna cost him the map? Well, the point.
The point? Yeah, I think so. That's a good
wall.
An okay wall. It doesn't allow them to stay on the point though. That's why it's only okay. It keeps everyone alive, but they don't get the point contest. So.
But if you look at the grand scheme of things, Sunjun had to also use his buff as well. So it's Zero will not be able to have any tools at their disposal for the next fight. Well, maybe the Gravitic Flux for an attack, but Ons will be having the Overclock, and Vigilante will also be having the window as well. So here's that Flux. Oh. So a decent Flux from attack, and also a good follow-up to destroy that lamp early so that the kill's registered. And with 66%, maybe it is going to be last fight territory for either team. Oh!
I mean, that's the point. That's the second point, surely.
I think so. I mean, it's not just a Sojourn, but it's a Sojourn with the Overclock. So even though if ISOHAN managed to touch, there's very little chance that they will be able to
they're giving it up.
Win that fight. Yeah, they're giving it up.
Yeah, they're giving it up. So they're pathing. I mean, they're gonna get to the point first. They had the better spawn, or the better side of the map, I guess. I mean, even still, this next fight should still be pretty favorable for Zero. The only problem is obviously they had to have low ground versus high ground control, but you kind of want to. I mean, you'd kind of force this with the Ant Matrix and Rally, I think.
I mean, unless Ons gets like a headshot or two with the Overclock.
Yeah.
There's that railgun we've been waiting for, but it's not able to look at that small corridor there because Irony is threatening with that. Oh, that's a big stun.
This is a bad, yeah. The Overclock forced the Ant Matrix in a tiny corridor where it was not very useful for the entire team. Actually, it was not useful at all. It just got LOS'd by ISOHAN. And then the Rampage was used, sorry, Rally was used when the players were like out of LOS. They didn't get the instant, like they didn't start to build overhealth. And by the point that Irony got, or Opener got around the corner, attack was dead. This is a really good setup by ISOHAN to force all these resources to be wasted by Zero.
And now at a sliver of health right now. He needs healing.
Well, I mean,
he will be,
hello, pay attention, team. Sunjun, hello, Opener, Irony.
How long has he been with like 7 health? Oh my god.
You think he was spamming I need healing? I would be.
He almost died here. So he started at 69%. Oh, he doesn't. What a
He's being
Chad.
very polite. Well, okay. I mean, we don't hear him say it in game. He could be saying it in voice though.
Oh, okay. That's also true. It's like, guys. I think XERO's just giving up the point. Yeah.
I mean that fight where they were forced to that they used both. Such a tough fight.
They want an early fight here. Both teams using a lot of ultimates here. This is already 5 ultimates in play. And
I mean, this is a good reset. This is a good reset because you still get like the actual fight in the open now when you have gravitic flux. So you'll get line of sight with yours. And the point hasn't even been unlocked yet, so it's not like you're losing it. This is a really smart rotation from ISOHAN.
Yep, I think this is like showing that this team has a lot of experience. Yeah, especially at the highest echelon of Overwatch esports.
Yeah, you can combo Matrix and Gravitic Flux here, I think. Yeah, exactly so. That's... Oh, hold on. Winnable? No longer winnable. Okay, yeah, that's just a smart rotation for ISOHAN that turns around in their favor. Even with that trade on Ons, it's not enough to actually turn this fight.
Yep. XERO bleeding out 1 by 1, and although it did take a while, and like the map being Flashpoint, they already had like 34%, but I mean it's not going to take long until they match the progress that XERO made with ISOHAN. So
now this fight here
is going to be the
XERO
decider.
XERO cannot dump both their support ultimates and get nothing. They cannot be kited, like, for free. They simply cannot be.
So there is that's the Bob, and also that's the overclock from Hans. Not killing anyone yet, but opener falls, and that is going to be a huge disadvantage for XERO. Hans firing on all cylinders. Yes, Attack has a shield on his face. Oh, wait a second, Kalios wins that duel against Attack, and Irony, well, XERO bet all their chips, went all in with their ultimates. They lost, and it doesn't look like, even if they have 2 ultimates here, it doesn't look like they will be able to make another big fight on that on this point.
I mean, I think they still have a teleport, plus they still have Rally and Ant Matrix. They actually still can contest. This is still doable for them. They need to go now, though. They need someone to touch the point.
Everyone.
Okay, good start. Good start. Rally, window. Yeah, good. This is good.
They need to get something out of this, though. Like you said, LaFon, remember, they're using both ultimates and they got Vigilante. This is a good start, but they cannot afford to lose Knife here. Irony. Okay, they're winning stuff. Oh, Kalios and the rescue. Oh, wait a second. Everyone is wiped out on the side of ISOHAN. What a turn. This was a flip and flop fight, but in the end, XERO comes up victorious. And is XERO going to win this match?
I mean, surely. No one touches.
No!
XERO wins.
XERO wins. Oh my goodness! I did not know how this map went.
Yeah, neither did I.
And I did not This is the first time I'm watching this match, and I'll be very honest with you, and I know that some XERO players are actually watching this stream right now. I don't know, because I took a sneak peek at like the viewers right now.
Sure, yeah.
I'll be very honest with you. I was expecting ISOHAN to win this match, and
no, XERO was the better team, right? Mm-hmm. They were 1 fight away on Blizzard World in a fight that I think if they had a chance to redo would do very differently. Mm-hmm. And they were the better team here on New Junk City.
So what went wrong here?
Well, I mean, nothing went wrong it was the fight where they used both support ultimates in this corridor that the game ended up. They should have won. Realistically, they should have won on the third point, not the fourth one. So. But the fact that Overclock was able to zone out 2 ultimates, and not because ISOHAN did anything particularly well, but because XERO kind of dumped them in a corridor that they shouldn't have. Is realistically why this game went to 4. And the fact that and they fixed that error, right? They fixed that error in the 4th point.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I'll be in defense of XERO here right now. Remember, on that 3rd point, Aunts did threaten them with, yes, I'm not saying that Irony's Ant Matrix was optimal in that situation, but it did, I think the intent was to kind of zone off, deny Aunts'
I think the thing is though, when you talk about the path of least resistance is often the easiest one to, like, you don't want to make things more difficult for yourself than they need to be. The game is already hard enough. You're already playing against elite players, right? Like, why try and make a gamble play unless you're in a desperation scenario? Like, if the game is even, there's no reason to make desperation plays. You know what I mean? Especially when you have the lead economically. That's the other part. It's not like they were in a desperation or in a deficit resource wise. And the reason I'm being harder on XERO here is because they are a great team, right? I've obviously watched these players for a very long time. And I've seen what they're capable of. I mean, actually, amusingly enough, Irony is probably the player that I've casted. Like, he's one of the players I've casted the career of longest, because he played on Billy Gaming, like in Contender China. So I've seen these players. I know what they're capable of, and I know that's a play that they know that they don't make very frequently. So that's why it's so tough. And I think here, this is actually a perfect setup for them. Flashpoint moves so fast that there is. If you can get to the objective here and take the capture, which they should, because resource-wise, again, they're just in a better position overall to do.
So let's talk about ISOHAN here a little bit. They're a little bit split up. I know that they're trying to. I guess the idea is that they want to cover both entrances, and also if they come, like, I guess, TP into the center, they have a crossfire angle. But is this setup optimal? Would you approve of this 2-3 setup, defense setup from ISOHAN?
I think it's fine. I mean, the play here is, for me, I think the play here is stabilize, keep everyone alive, use the photon barrier to buy time against the Ant Matrix that they have, farm the gravitic flux. Right, that's kind of the play here. And Kalio's setting up on an off angle to bounce the hyperspheres on the teleport angle to get that, to 95%. I think makes sense, right? Okay. So I think this setup is fine. Actually, let's play this fight. Let's see how it plays out in the overhead.
So they TP in. Everyone except Sunjin TP's in at the current moment. Pelican immediately responds with the photon barrier.
This is a tough one. The fact that Photon Barrier comes out before the Ant Matrix is the tough part, because normally the way you kind of hear the idea of the Photon Barrier is you play one side of it, and leave your opponent on the other side. Because Irony uses the Ant Matrix afterwards, the Photon Barrier doesn't actually defend against any damage at all, right? Because the Ant Matrix bisects Pelican's ultimate here. So Irony being patient also plays off really, really high here. Kalio's dropping to the objective is also a mistake. You don't need to. You're in final fight territory. I don't know why they're panicking as if they were in. I don't know why they're panicking as if this is a 99.
XERO's favor.
Exactly. You don't need to take this fight if you're ISOHAN. Let the Ant Matrix wear away. Let the rally. You could pepper the rally from the high ground. Instead, Kalios drops down to contest, and he dies. I don't know if he dies actually, but we're about to. No, he definitely does die. There's no way he doesn't, because the immortality fields can get destroyed like basically instantly.
And Sunjin, I like Sunjin's angle here. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
yes, Pelican's blocking a lot of damage, a lot of the damage from his shots here, but I still like the angle here because the wall's gonna expire anytime. Actually, Vigilante is the first one to fall.
Again, it's the fact that it's that fact that Ant Matrix is like is parallel, perpendicular rather, to this photon barrier.
Yep.
The photon barrier is just not doing what it needs to in this situation.
So Vigilante was actually the wrong side of the photon barrier because, well, I mean, not his mistake.
I don't think there's a right side for Vigilante to be in.
Okay. Yeah, because if he's on the other side, he's gonna get like free shot by Sunjin. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And then opener holds position. Okay, good pickup by Ons. I mean, so far this is like.
And, then it's a free firing range from Sunjin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yes, Callius does get the gravitic flux that he was farming from, but it's way too late.
Way too late. And there's no way to get to point now, right? Like, keep in mind, 3 of the players died in overtime. They have the slower respawns.
I mean, by the time... Okay,
By the time they respawn, there's literally no way to touch.
Oh,
and then the Lucio gets stunned.
The Lucio, that the one character that
maybe could have. I don't think he could have though. Like even without the stun, I don't think he touches.
Well, I mean, Ons was a little bit close to, but yeah, but I guess overall impressive stuff. Yes, like necessarily, I don't think ISOHAN played like optimally, but I don't think that there were any like major mistakes. It was just, I think, a good setup from the side of XERO. Credit to XERO. I think they played really well. Yeah. I'm, like just kind of like keeping the focus on ISOHAN a little bit because we're talking about the stream is focusing on ISOHAN. A little bit concerning, like overall, like if you just like ask me to comment like the overall strengths of ISOHAN, I would say that they're a really good team, but they have some concerning, they have some bursts of concerning moments that and did cost them a map in a game. So,
and I mean, as we saw in the O2 high school matchup, right, with ISOHAN, is that they lack the explosiveness that some of the elite teams do. I mean, that even XERO had, right? Like XERO here, like when you needed kind of a clutch play, Sunjin was able to come in with the Sojourn, right, and do so, or attack on the Sigma, or it's kind of like that setup. I mean, even at the end there, Irony with the Baptiste, like a very clutch play. I think we're missing that element from ISOHAN.
At least on certain maps, on certain moments. Like
they're inconsistent with it. Is the thing.
Because remember, like we're roasting on ISOHAN right now, but like we've also saw the great moments from ISOHAN as well. Like not just against XERO, like against other teams. Like we've seen them against the Hamsters, not Hamsters, the Smurfs, or was it the Hamsters? Yeah, it was the Smurfs.
ISOHAN played. Well, we saw them. Yeah, because it was in secondary qualifiers.
And we also saw them against O2 High School and Runaway, if I'm not mistaken. We've saw like even though like they may have won and lost maps, like during their highs, they're actually really brilliant.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, this team it's tough to kind of like. There is always the asterisk with talking about ISOHAN because this is, a roster that kind of has expectations with players that aren't here. But I think in terms of what they're performing right now, this was also qualifier play. So like this is also a lot like 10 days ago, right? So some of the things that we're seeing here have actually been fixed since. And I think they took this game against XERO and definitely learned from it in some of their future games. So this is critique that is outdated from when we're watching it.
And also, Farmershaw, thank you. And also, let's kind of talk about Zale's question here. Did the Brig and versus
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
Well, I mean, not in this particular moment, but in a comp perspective, I think it makes a lot of differences because
But they were because the thing is, Chorong was running Brig for the majority of the time. He dies late in the previous fight, so switches to Lucio to get back quicker. That's why he's on Lucio. It's not like a. They would prefer to be on the Brig in that situation, but I don't think in that fight it actually had much effect.
Yeah. I mean,
it was not the biggest reason they lost the fight. Yeah.
And
it was not the biggest reason they lost the fight.
But if you just talk about like a neutral setting, like a Sigma comp with the Brig and a Sigma comp with the Lucio, this all kind of revolves back to the poke versus the rush-ish kind of Sigma composition, right?
Exactly.
The rush-ish, the brawl/rush kind of Sigma composition entails most likely entails not only the Lucio but also this Symmetra is also like a big identity for this rush composition where you want to be in everyone's faces, and you use the Sigma in a little bit different. Like you just don't have a shield up just to deny some angles. You use it actively, like as you would use a Ramatra shield or a Reinhardt shield, and then you're just using. Also, like, you would most likely prefer to have a Mei in that composition as well. Isolate, be like close down the distance really quickly, and then just isolate a single target. Take care of them. Use that numbers advantages to snowball the fight. Whereas if you have the Brig, you don't have that speed advantage. You probably don't. Yes, you do also sometimes run the Symmetra like ISOHAN did in this instance, but most likely it's something like you would see, more commonly you would see something like a Sojourn/Ashe, and then maybe sometime I do admit seeing a lot of Meis maybe to counter the rush composition from the opponent, because if you have a wall, like if your opponent sets a wall against you, one of the best counterplays to that is to having your own wall to save or isolate another player. So maybe that, but in essence, usually the Sigma with a Brig entails a poke composition, or a Sigma with a Lucio is more of a rush composition.
We're so used to seeing Sigma just be a poke character that we've had. Now that we're in a different sort of paradigm, how we see compositions has to shift. Like as the public, I'm saying, not obviously the players and coaches and staff and kind of know this, but in terms of the public, there has to be a paradigm shift in how we approach discussing things, because it's not the same makeup as was in Overwatch 1, right? And our language has to shift a little bit as a result.
Yep. And we are moving to the next round of the next stage of the tournament, which is ISOHAN versus Simprisa Gaming. I believe that this is an elimination match.
Game.
Yes. Also, not only is it a knockout game, the loser.
Yeah, sorry, elimination match.
Yes.
That's what I meant to say.
This is a lower bracket match. So whoever loses here gets knocked out from the tournament. A lot of stakes here.
Round 1. Capture the objective.
So, like, I don't want to sit on too much on this point, but like, if you look here, this composition has the Lucio and it's paired up with a Symmetra and the Mei. So this is basically what we would traditionally call a rush style composition.
I mean, I think it still is. Also, the switching to a Genji instead. Okay. One of the things I want to ask, so obviously, I haven't had a chance to talk to coaches this patch, right? Because obviously there's no seasons running, so I haven't had a chance to really do tons of kind of meta review and so forth. But one of the questions I would ask immediately is like, what is the selection? Like, what is the logic? Which is behind selecting which dive character you kind of go for?
Oh, Milgaro? That
So
deserves.
funny. He seismic slam, but the Mei wall's in the way, so he slid off of it.
Oh. Rip.
Not really his. Well, I mean, it's kind of his fault, but it's just kind of funny more than anything else.
That's not a misplay. It's just.
I mean, sometimes things happen, you know.
Yes. It's It was a good wall from Mons and a combination of unfortunate events. That's what I'll say.
a series of unfortunate events.
Oops. Don't want to reveal who all my friends are, but Milkara is kind of pressured a little bit, and
okay. So we've already seen SPG play right in the qualifiers. I mean, they're winning this fight, but it's so messy.
Like a lot of
actually,
individuals.
Never mind. They may not actually be winning this fight.
Yeah, he's not so sure.
This is not a pretty fight.
I mean, I don't know. This is a competitive lobby right now. Like, I don't see a lot of like I guess.
It's competitive in the same way that my comp games are competitive.
Yeah, comp competitive. Like yes, not esports competitive.
Ants actually played a significant amount of Mei on which team was it? On SF Shock when I remember he kind of had to switch a little bit.
Wait, that's an expensive fight.
This is a mess. This is just straight up a mess. And I don't necessarily know that there's a reason for it to be this messy, because SPG knows how to play a cleaner dive than this.
Oh, well, at least they're gonna take that point. Yep, they are gonna take that point. And
okay,
I'm kind of like really struggling to provide any sort of meaningful analysis here.
Yeah, this is not. I mean, it's just all over the place. It's just super chaotic.
Well, we have a classic here on Cassidy. At least, I mean, I'm assuming that's going to counter the specific threat of AIDS Echo. Because the previous composition, the Symmetra, the Symmetra and the Mei did not have a lot of answers to. Oh, what a nice headshot! And did not have a clear answer to AIDS. I guess. Let's just say did not have a lot of anti-air capabilities.
Man. It's so funny because for Ants, like, it's clear that he's much more he's just not as comfortable on Sojourn. Right? Like, this is a different player.
Yes. I mean, Ants, like, I don't like the Cassidy in general, especially in this meta, but
yeah,
he makes it look so good.
Yeah, the Sojourn looks uncomfortable. It looks like he's never really gotten that character's rotation down. And, like, the reason is, it feels like the reason he's picking it is because it's just, like, the best character, not because it's something he's, like, actually genuinely comfortable with.
Right?
That's fair.
Because, like, actually, Sojourn is one of those funny characters. You'd think, like, oh, you're a hit scan, you can kind of just play her and it'll work out. But it really isn't like that.
Can you kind of elaborate on that a little bit?
I don't know. I don't have like an analytical point for it. It's more just like you look at certain players and they just don't look like they get the hero, despite historically thinking that they should. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's kind of like the Ashe and the Sojourn question, right?
Yeah.
Like on paper or on thought, you think that if you're good at Ashe, if you're good at like general hit scans, we expect the player to be good on Sojourn as well, right? And I think the I don't know. Like, my personal opinion is that it's not, like, the style of play should not be as different. But I don't know.
Man, Pelican's aim is so good.
Like, he's just playing aim hero here right now. Well, I mean,
this is gonna be a tough. I think this is gonna be a really tough engage for SPG.
Yeah, I mean they do have some tools incoming, but I think that as soon as Argon just drops the Blizzard, they can just TP out to safety.
Yep.
Unless something goes very terribly wrong.
I mean, this is a little bot time for us to get a couple of body shots in, so now it's that Blizzard.
So, wall countered by a photon barrier countered by photon barrier, and like you said, it is likely that Ons is going to be their teammates is going to buy enough time for the Blizzard to be there.
And they get aid too. Ooh.
Oh. I mean, yes, both Blizzards freeze a couple of members, but vastly different value in terms of like how follow-up kills were happening, right?
Yeah. No, that's the map, by the way. There is actually no way for SPG to contest here.
Well, yep, they're getting held up in that corner here. And even Kalius just uses the Gravitic Plus just to make it safe. Nobody's able to touch. Well.
Yeah, that stagger onto Argon was so big. Poor guy.
Well, that was a very quick map one.
That was a very quick map one.
And, I mean, of course, they're going against very different teams, but it looked like... Okay, so this has been like a week apart, I think, about like 5 days apart. I don't know if their issues are fixed, but it looks like they are at least addressing it, right? Because they look, of course, again, it's hard to compare one-on-one because there are different opponents, right? And also different players, also different styles, different power levels. But at least from what we've seen in Lijiang, it looks like they're kind of a little bit more thoughtful on their decisions, like their ult management, their uses of their key cooldowns. It looks like they're on point, and they're not even. I dare say that they are not afraid to pull out off-meta stuff like Cassidy as well, because I think the Cassidy was a good pick. I mean, not a good pick in general, but at least situationally, it was a good answer to the questions that SPG were throwing at them. So,
let's see how well they do in map number 2.
What do you think it is?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, probably... I'm tempted to say Midtown.
Well, you are correct. But why would SPG go for Midtown, though?
Because, like... That is actually a good question. Why would they go with Midtown over Blizzard World?
Because they know Kalius is going to play Sigma.
They know Kalius is going to play Sigma. Yeah, exactly. So why do they think that... Because my expectation... The reason why I said they would go to Midtown is I thought they would play Doomfist, right? This is also the Knockouts games. Lower bracket. What do they play in the upper bracket?
I don't know. I haven't seen SPG's upper bracket games, to be honest with you.
We did watch them because it was against Runaway where they got 3-0'd.
Oh yeah, actually correct.
I don't know why I felt so confident saying Midtown. In hindsight, I think Blizzard would have been a better pick.
I remember now. Mag was playing the Doomfist.
Oh yes, that's right.
Mag was playing the Doomfist, and Milgar was actually playing the Sigma. So,
yes.
I 100% remember now. They were playing Sigma on the attack and Doomfist on the defense, and I thought that was weird.
Yes.
And it's
okay. That's a good teleport though. They get everyone, and they force so many defensive utilities. You need to turn this fight if you're SPG. You cannot allow ISOHAN to reset here.
Oh.
The fact that you forced Cryo and Wall and Immortality Field and you don't even get an elimination is criminal.
Oh, and they even lose a member early.
They allow that reset to happen. Oh, no, no, no. That's so unfortunate.
Alright, I want to kind of go back a little bit here.
I mean, this fight happens in that the fact that this reset comes through
Not only that, like they go to high ground after this.
Yeah.
They go to the second floor.
Well, because they try and teleport on the back line onto Ans.
I guess. But why not teleport on the point and rush Callius?
Because I don't think Kalios is killable. Between Vigilante and Chorong, like double repair pack plus like a heal grenade, like you're not getting that elimination, right? So yeah, they teleport onto Ans, but there's that coach gun coming into play. Buy space. Now all of a sudden it's a good accretion onto Argon, forces the defensive cooldown, and then the front line and back line get separated with a good wall. Like that's a good read from the defense. Well, I think this fight gets lost in the corridor where Pelican gets isolated. Pelican should have been dead. But they greed for the pick and they end up using their own defensive utility, and then the reset comes in terms of timing. So I don't know. That just felt like a really greedy play from SPG that they didn't need to make.
And I mean, yes, and also like on the other side, I think it's a really good play from ISOHAN.
Oh yeah.
Also, like especially Chorong and Vigilante, they knew that the only option, I guess, the only good option for SPG was going to be collapsing on Ans, and they were there in time.
Yeah.
And also a good wall from Pelican here.
Yes, this is the play that Pelican was trying to make earlier, but mistimed, and now all of a sudden, the defense is just in control. This is gonna be like half the time being plus elapsed.
Oh.
This body block, that's so rough. Nice.
And Argon died after that wall, so couldn't able to just destroy that wall, put that wall down, and it ended up being Milgar's grave. That's also rough.
That's also a really cheap fight too. Right?
They only used the Blizzard.
Only use the Blizzard.
And
so you're gonna be able to match. You're gonna be able to match the ult flood that SPG are trying to build for. Nice block again by Pelican. Uses the cryo freeze to make sure that Milgaru can't enter the room, and doesn't get the benefit of the immortality field.
Oh, Aiden decides to use the sound barrier here.
Why?
I have no idea. Well, they do get the kills. This is such a weird fight.
Man, they're getting really lucky that this is working.
Oh.
Can we scroll back to that fight and look from Callius' point of view the whole way through?
Callius' point?
Yeah. Or I guess we were on Callius' point of view. Let's do... Who was the last player standing aside from Callius?
Vigilante.
Vigilante? Yeah, that works. Okay, this so far good. This is a good start. It's a really good play by Pelican to keep everyone caught out. They eliminate Milgaru. This Bob is fine.
Look, at this point, I don't know how ISOHAN loses, but I guess we'll figure out.
Oh, they get caught on the wrong side of the photon barrier, and Vigilante gets caught dealing damage, not healing. Which I mean, or rather, does not have the ability to heal his team. Is what I mean. Man, this time it's ISOHAN that get caught over-aggressing into a fight that they don't need to. And though this, I will say, this has been a consistent thing where ISOHAN just sometimes forces a play, as we saw in the qualifiers against XERO. They just force a play and they don't really need to.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, because up until that fight, up until the fight where Pelican was forcing out things, and then even until when Ans traded the Bob for the sound barrier, I think it was okay. But at that point, could you even disengage from that? I think that's kind of like the question.
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know if that actually does enough to block you from the amount of damage coming in, but it looks funny. So. Good wall.
Oh, Pelican's looking for that Blizzard angle. At least this time he doesn't like the entire team just decides to back up. Like, if this was the ISOHAN that we've been seeing a little bit, there was also a pretty good chance that like Pelican would have just used the Blizzard and try to just like jump on them.
I think the Callus is for a big flux here. So that'd be helpful.
Okay. This is actually a pretty good sound barrier.
But the thing is, now that it's expired, they're gonna have a free flux. And I think Immortality Field has already been used. I mean, regardless, this is just so much time. This is so much time taken off the clock.
Ooh. The Rock did not deny. Ooh.
Oh.
Not really sure what Charles was looking for with that rally.
Oh, he's we're all looking at different players. Oh.
Well, I mean, I think that's something that we've been seeing several times, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Bob is going to have an angle.
Keep in mind, the one thing that they did do successfully is take a lot of time off the clock.
Ooh, oh, he lives! Oh my God, how did
Immortality Field. Immortality Field.
What a broken ability. Like, Ants did die over there, but
I mean, he did his job by the time he died. Like 2 players were eliminated. So.
Yeah, Sunprisa he stalled Sunprisa so long to the point that the rest of the team just won the fight.
Yeah.
Oh, and is Oregon gonna get staggered? Oh no.
Oh yeah, for sure.
With 30 seconds remaining, this is a single fight territory where just Pelican can just win with the Blizzard.
Yeah. And they're not making any. I mean, you kind of have to just.
So the player is just gonna get. Yeah, maybe, but then Lucio has to be the one to touch. Oh,
no. When Aid's on fire, it's dead. It's dead.
Oh.
Spaghetti, the spaghetti, I can see it.
Rally is gonna sustain everyone. And the big shield is going to also absorb a lot of the damage. That should have been headshots towards Callius. Good play from Charo here. Allows Callius. Oh, what an unfortunate. I mean, I guess that was calculated because Aid needed to touch the point. And Callius knew that was happening. So, but again, good play from the side of Charo here to not only put the sustain with the rally, but to hold his shield in front of Callius to deny the headshot damage on that frozen Callius.
Yeah, if that had kind of got an elimination, this would have been a very different fight. Obviously, Callius surviving means that you got Gravitic Flux to close out the round. So yeah, you're absolutely right. Charong not getting frozen. Man, I think he was like a meter outside the range of the Blizzard.
Yeah.
This game is a game of inches.
I mean, as is the game of like we've been talking like as if these players are making bad mistakes, but remember, all of these players are elite level Overwatch players. Like ISOHAN, their entire roster is just a all-star grade Overwatch League players, and also Sunprisa Gaming is basically like you can just call them the future, the next generation future of Overwatch stars. So, like by no chance like these players are quote unquote bad. It's
I mean, keep in mind this is knockouts. Like they had to win to get to here, right? It's not like we're just seeing teams kind of show up. No, they perform. And to Simprisa's credit, they've actually performed in the tier 2 echelons for some time. Like, this is a team that's been around for about a year now, maybe just over a year. And they've made, you know, pretty big strides.
Right. So I think everyone except Kalios is, well, no, Kalios and Vigilante going to decide. Securing that, I guess, high ground, getting a better angle on those shots. Milgara under a lot of pressure. The lamp is forced out, and also that's the grasp, kinetic grasp taken away. Shield, Milgara's shield is down, so has to back out. Costs Aiden, but also Charong is taken out in the process. Kalios looks to be taken down, so ISOHAN has to take a full reset here.
Man, Milgaru and Wushan took so much aggression. Kalios could not support Pelican and the rest of the squad, and they get eliminated. So I like that. Take a 2v2 in the front line, and then have your DPS kind of duel out. And obviously, I mean, the Sojourn, if you have the railguns, the chances of her finding a headshot are, the lethality is a lot more effective than the Ashes, right?
Exactly.
Keep in mind, the other reason why is because, like, you poke to get your rail up, and then you go for one shot, whereas the Ash has to be a little bit more involved, like, has to, like, commit a lot more aggressively to try and get eliminations.
We don't see a lot of casualties so far. Argon, despite using the Blizzard, looks in a lot of trouble. Milgaru is a little bit far away from the pack. And also, it's frozen. Well, Charong is just, well, I don't know. He's on a mission on himself and got what he wanted. And that's going to be point A.
I mean, that was entirely in it. Like, that was Blizzard, Overclock, and Gravitic Flux that get no eliminations. And not no eliminations because they were countered out resource-wise, that just weren't used in a way that anyone could actually follow up with, right? So it's like...
yeah, those ultimates from Team Preset Gaming wasn't like necessarily used in a coordination with their team. I think it was more like, hey, I need to win this 1v1 or I need to survive kind of all, right? And this kind of leaves in a massive disadvantage for Team Preset Gaming, especially in the next upcoming fight. They have the Bob, they have the Gravitic Flux without a lot of countermeasures, and Aiden with maybe the only countermeasure, that defensive countermeasure that they had, is down. And that's Milgaru down, that's the Gravitic Flux, I don't know, that's the lamp down as well. So that's high ground control entirely given over to the side of ISOHAN. Good forward positioning by Pelican and Kalios, as long as they don't overextend and die here. And that's going to be a lot of ground covered by ISOHAN. Maybe, and remember, they don't even have to full cap point B. That the Golden Box's victory is almost there.
Someone touch. Okay, they get there. I mean, this rally has to pop off, surely. Also, by the way, Charong is going to have a second rally before Aiden really gets a chance to actually use his. Oh, they don't touch. They don't touch! Bro, why?
Alright.
Wait, how do they not touch?
So that's the Blizzard. Aiden uses the rally for sustain, but keep in mind that Aiden is also in the area of Blizzard. So he will be, he gets his way out. So that's probably how they don't touch. Aiden uses the shield bash to get out.
Wait, but Argon, does Argon die too?
Probably.
Oh, he gets booped. He gets whip shot by Charong.
So I guess that's good play from Charong, to be honest. I mean, I don't think it's anyone's fault here on the side of SPG, unfortunately. Like, Milgaru is down. Aiden had to me. I don't know. Maybe if he just expected to die and just shield bash towards the point, maybe. I don't know. I mean, even after that, after Argon dies, Aiden's gonna fall like 5 milliseconds after that. So I don't think it might have made a meaningful difference. Got whip shot here, and then if Aiden was there, probably would survive for about like 2-3 more seconds. Did Aiden? No. Oh, Aiden did have the power jump. So like power slide. So maybe, like, I don't know. Maybe in a different world, but yeah. I wouldn't consider this a C9 though.
It's not as I mean, there's other things this map that went wrong for SPG to be here. It's not like this was the fight that broke the camel's back, but like, ugh. All right, where to next?
New Junk City, Vigilante. I like what you're hovering here.
There's been very little Illari played in KR.
The last time I saw Illari was when the hamsters were off-road.
Well, we saw it a little bit in what was it?
No, Stalker was playing Illari.
Yeah, no, but we saw a little bit on roll. It was also in qualifiers, not in knockouts. Which team was it? What? It was on Samoa on the lava map.
Oh, yes, you're correct. I forgot what team though. Oh, interesting to see Pelican
was
on
it
this
SPG?
Ocean.
No, it wasn't SPG. I don't think it was SPG.
No, I don't think it was.
Anyway, we don't have the Illari anyway, so it's not like it doesn't matter.
Well, interesting to see the Pelican and Aunts kind of potentially swapping their characters here. 8 down early. Kalios is traded out.
That is not a good trade.
Yeah, that is not a good trade. Oh, Vigilante taken down, so it's no longer a trade. It is hostile takeover of some piece of gaming. Oh, but it's okay. That's a trade anyway. Again, that's a trade. Oh, Pelican, hello.
Man, Pelican looks just so much more comfortable on this hero. Yes, they lose the fight, but Pelican just looks so much more comfortable on this hero.
Oh my god. Pelican. I don't know how I feel about this. Okay.
Listen,
Theory.
Pelican has fantastic aim.
Yes. Yes. Also, I have a conspiracy theory. Ans is playing on Pelican's computer.
That is a conspiracy theory. Especially because Pelican has proven in the past that he's more than willing to go Cassidy.
Yep. I mean, yeah. I mean, I have no issues with Cassidy. Oh, that was a nasty nade into Milgaro there. Argon on the other side is getting nanoed, but is also getting a chunked out with his health. Not getting the most value out of the nano, but I assume. Oh. I assume that was a nano to get his blade like a little bit faster.
That is such a funny fight. Milgaro's sitting in the corner at 1 HP while his enemies just fall in front of him. Oh man.
Well, I mean, if Uchan's intent was to get Argon his blade quicker than it should have, then he succeeded. And Argon is Milgaro yet again 1 HP.
Damn, huge blade.
Yep. Well.
Wait, oh no. Poor Uchi, he just got left. They just left him. Dang, they really just used Rally and Blade to lose 2 players. That's wild.
Well, I mean, they got the point, maybe, so.
I mean, they got the point before they used those 2 ults. So this is surely these players die.
Wait, did Pelican just use the Deadeye to just reload?
I think so.
Oh,
yeah.
he did. Wait. Oh, okay. Worth it.
I mean, in fairness, there's like that's all that Deadeye is good at against this comp. Because you can get stunned by the Doomfist, you can get deflected by the Genji, right? It's just too hard to set up this play, but that is so funny.
Wait, you don't even have to get stunned by the Doomfist. You just can get punched around and still get canceled, right?
Well, because it's an instant stun, right? So like you get the stun and then you get and then if you get hit against the wall, it's also a stun. Like it's like a double. Anyway, but the point is, yeah, it can get canceled with the punch. Man, there's really been some choices made on New Junk City.
Interesting to see, to be honest. Like, not that I agree with all of them, but
they're entertaining. I will. They have been. This has been an entertaining map. What? Why did we use lamp so early? No one was in danger.
Wait, who? Vigilante?
No. Yeah. Sorry, Vigilante uses lamp. No reason.
Probably a show of confidence.
Anyone gonna touch?
I also have a conspiracy theory. Vigilante thought. Vigilante may have at the moment, like just at the heat of the moment, thought that the flux was going to be from the other side, despite Mikara being on Doomfist. I'm just like at this point I'm just joking here, right? But
yeah.
Like he heard that verse voice line from the Sigma and just kind of like insta reacts like he's been trained to do that. That's my conspiracy theory.
Well, that is good ante. That is a really good ante. Oh, they can't close out. Never mind.
Oh.
What? You're down 2 players. Why are you pressing Q?
Oh. Okay, if I ever do a fantasy Overwatch competition of some sort, I'm having Pelican as my hit scan. I'm actually liking.
I've done a good job of not being a hater. Aiden's ultimates are going to re-engage my hater drive.
It's okay.
Like, bro, what are you doing?
I mean, it happens. Remember, the last map was pretty rough.
All right, Dragon Blade at 10 HP. What are you doing? Oh my god. Okay. This is not real. This is not real.
Unfortunate. Well, in the end, that was one ult used, both sides. ISOHAN taking advantage. Good play from ISOHAN, I guess.
You know what? Argon actually got rewarded for that Dragon Blade because they used Rally for like in response to it. And now Argon's on Widow. Oh my god, make it stop. Make it stop. I mean, they are outside their spawn doors, so he's going for the pick off. That's not a bad play, but
maybe because he already used his ult anyways, right?
Yeah, it's just another marker on, you know, on this match. Do they even touch?
I don't. Maybe. Yeah, they probably do touch.
Okay. Nano overclock. Good. And he doesn't get frozen because he's on the high ground. Nice. And Milgar is the one that touches the. Ooh.
Well, 8 saved the fight.
I mean that's a good. It's a good setup. It's a good setup. It cost them 3 ults, but it's a good setup.
I mean, they needed it.
Yeah.
After, remember what was the, I guess.
And in fairness, that was also that was also for the highlight that Moira was to fade to the front of the spawn, and then the Weaver was to kinetic to life grip their.
I know. I just wanted to see it.
Yeah.
So
just for people who are watching, they're like confused, like why are they switching to life?
This is min maxing. Remember,
yes,
he used the Moira.
Spawn at the front of the spawn room on Flashpoint, please. Having to use all 3 blinks on Tracer to get out of spawn, not to get from the spawn forward, to get out of spawn. Sucks.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know why, but I just love that interaction.
Yeah.
And, like, I also imagined myself being in that.
That is a good rally.
Yeah, that is a good rally, and also a good lamp that saved everyone.
Yes. Pelican was 1 HP, by the way, in the lamp.
Well, Vigilante was unable to save himself. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't blame Vigilante for that. Vigilante did well, but in the end, the initial setup from Aiden, a good, I guess, a redemption rally.
There's a lesson in every mistake.
Yeah, no, that was a really good ultimate. It's actually going to win them the second point. What a turnaround. 99-0, and they come back to take the second point. Or the third point, I guess. That nano overclock was such a good fight winner. And actually, you're going to be able to have, like, so much damage throughput on this next fight. There's not really much that ISOHAN can actually do to stop it.
Yep,
SPG should be able to take this first point control.
Yep, remember this is going to be Dragon, but this is going to be the overclock available, and the Nano most likely going to be available by the time that the fight is going on. So they have, ISOHAN has a lot of choices here. Both DPS ultimates are really, really good good combined with has good synergy with the Nano boost.
And you can also just Nano Milgaru, right? Like, that's not a bad choice either. Yeah, just yeah, overclock. Nano overclock. That's a lot of damage.
Gotta stay on your hello.
That is a lot of damage.
And well, I guess the bright side for ISOHAN, I guess, would be that they have 5 ultimates. I don't know if that's a blessing or a curse at this point, but in Overwatch 1, having 6 ultimates was a curse. I don't know about Overwatch 2. I don't have the sample size yet.
It's kind of funny so that was obviously something made popular in the Korean broadcasts, right? 6 ults you lose, but it absolutely filtered over to the English broadcasts. This is a good blade combo. This is a really good play by Milgaru and Argon both. It's not going to work out, but it's a good play. It's a good idea anyway.
I want to see it a little bit.
The way this play works is Milgaru goes in to take the brunt of the attack run of the rally and the ant matrix, and then uses the what do you call it, the meteor strike to escape as the anti comes in. So it's a good play, but because Kalios is sitting in front of the window, he actually gets the accretion off. And Argon does not get the dash reset. He needs to get into the back line. So it's a good set play by SPG, and an even better read by ISOHAN to make sure it doesn't actually go through.
Yeah, Argon didn't even use his Swift Trade.
Yes, like, see, that's right there. It's like you can see the setup coming in. It's just unfortunate that the timing, or not unfortunate. It's a good play by Kalios to shut it down.
Yep. And in the end, if you look at the trade value here, the ultimate trade was very even as well. And ISOHAN will be having more.
Yeah, and 60% on the point.
More ultimates for the next fight. So it looks like as long as they don't kind of fumble it up, ISOHAN will be able to at least match the progress that they made.
I mean, Deadeye is fine. We'll see how well that. We've obviously seen Deadeye not really do anything this match so far, but I mean, we're really looking at the.
It helped the reload that took out Aiden. What do you mean that hadn't had a lot of value?
Aiden was dead no matter what. There, I refuse to believe that Deadeye was the reason.
All right.
Kalios needs to make sure not to get punched and/or shield bashed in this Rabbinic Flux.
Yep.
Oh, the blizzard got canceled. Yeah, there's the punch. Oh my god. It got canceled too. That's 2 ults canceled this fight.
Remember that I said unless something goes terribly wrong. ISOHAN, they would probably be in favor. However, things did get terribly wrong. I want to see that fight again.
Yeah, can we look at Oz's POV when he dies? Because I think I don't know if he gets stunned or if he just dies mid animation. So it okay, this is fine. Good wall. Oh, he just died. Milgaru works overtime to get this fight. Can we see this fight from Milgaru's POV? Because he's like the driving force in this entire one. So good punch.
Argon also did the extra damage, I think.
Yeah, Argon definitely helped.
And I want.
And I mean the what do you call it was also there. Disruptor field from Aid. So that was the one ult, but Milgaru gets another stun here. Like this is. I mean, you should just commit to this flux. Just I try to find the perfect flux is a mistake here. But like watch Milgaru here. Seismic slam into punch. Kalios as he's getting the animation to bring everyone up in the air.
Oh.
Yeah. Milgaru like does so much work here.
Milgaru had 3 seconds on his seismic slam.
Yeah, like Kalios just needs to get a play here, not go for the perfect one.
So if Kalios made the flux, committed the flux within, I guess before this cooldown gets back online, it might have actually worked.
Yeah, it might have turned the fight. Like Kalios is still looking, then decides to go back for here, and then yeah, as they're going up in the air, and that's just a really nice play by Milgaru.
Oh.
And then Nano overclock.
Oh, nice shot off there. Well, I mean, I want to talk about Milgaru here. I'm sorry if I'm...
no, go ahead.
Like, remember, this player has been a ball one trick. And then just, I think I already mentioned that at some point, but, like, if you just look at, like, how much players have grown compared to the start of the season, I think Milgaru is, like, there at one of the most improved players of the season, like even including Overwatch League players.
Yeah, starting off as a ball one trick, added a Reinhardt, added a Sigma, added a Doomfist, added a Junker Queen. Oh, that was the last fight. I wasn't even paying attention. Damn. I mean, the real interesting fight was the one where Milgaru popped off, but even still, that was really well done.
Yep.
And Simprissa win a map. ISOHAN still sitting at match point though. It's 2-1.
I don't want to kind of like play down ISOHAN too much. I think ultimately it was a great play by Milgaru and some other individual pop-offs. I'm sorry, my English is failing me. By the side of Simprissa Gaming. I think that kind of shows how much, like, I mean, even though it looks like there's an imparity in power levels between the two teams, Simprissa Gaming still has that punch in them. At the same time, I think time and time over again, ISOHAN, despite having a lot of great strengths in their roster and also in their gameplay, it looks like they have like a regular lapse of concentration or team communication. So yes, it looks improved compared to their loss versus XERO and their group stage matches, well, rather qualifier matches, but still like if they want to win against like the top caliber teams, and of course coming up to the next week's match, like this weekend's matches, if they want to survive and make it through that, and make that lower bracket run all the way through, I think this is something that they have to kind of fix, if they want to be on the top 3 and make it to APAC finals. Well,
Push next.
yep. Not a map type we've seen so much.
Yeah. Actually, we've only seen it a handful of times. I think like 4 times, maybe.
Ready for battle.
I love this music.
Obviously, push was not available in
Qualifiers.
the qualifiers. Well, to get to push, you would have had to draw on hybrid, and we didn't see any draws. So, yeah, we didn't see any in the qualifiers. And then even in the knockouts, like the I think we saw it
Only like a handful.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times.
Ooh, Charo is staying with that Zenyatta pick. What would this imply? Would this imply that ISOHAN is anticipating the Doofus?
This is the first Zen we've seen. I can't really draw any conclusion. When something is such a massive outlier in terms of the pick, I don't think it's easy to draw conclusions. And realistically, this is where you have to do results-based analysis a lot of the time. I mean, we know what the Zen is good at, right? Discord Orb on tanks is pretty powerful. There's a lot of damage throughput. You have defensive agility in the Transcendence. However, Zen is also a very vulnerable hero, and as you can see the lockout there, you can no longer spam Discord Orb on targets. Also, I will say, Chorong is being left alone, considering how vulnerable he is to the dive.
Oh. I kind of want to make a point here. Like, Zen, I think it's also kind of one way to empower the Pelican Tracer here. I've been talking this way too many times, probably too many. I guess one time too many. But in this specific composition, if we replace the Zen with the usual Brig that we would expect to see, the Tracer would not fit in perfectly to this composition mainly because simply the Tracer is not in a position to get a lot of resources. But if we have the Orb of Harmony here, then things are a little bit different. Like Chorong doesn't have to move out position drastically, and still have a line. Like as long as you have a line of sight on Pelican, like every 2 or 3 seconds, Pelican would still be. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's 3 seconds now because the duration that the Orb of Harmony stays on you is increased this patch.
Okay, so as long as he is in line of sight for 3 seconds, then Pelican would still be in a position to be healed. And not only that, although you can't spam the Discord Orb on the same target, you can still... I think it still matters in a sense where when Pelican wants to jump on or like single 1v1 a target, like the Genji per se, or the Sojourn. I think that is kind of like a meaningful difference. So I think it's a very interesting and experiment here from the side of ISOHAN, and I would definitely like to see if this succeeds or not, because this, depending on how this works out, might even shake up the meta a little bit, because we haven't seen a lot of like Tracers succeed with the poke version of the Sigma composition, but this might change things. I'm definitely going to watch how the Zenyatta goes with great interest.
All right.
Hello.
It also does empower the Ashe a little bit more, by the way. It's like on top of the Tracer, right? It's not just a. It's not just Ans gets a little bit more lethal with the Discord.
Yeah. And
I mean that's obviously a bit of a like for haha comment, like oh yeah, everyone gets lethal with Discord up. What I mean is the amount of damage, the likelihood of like a one shot happening from the from the rifle goes up.
It benefits, like everyone gets benefited, but like Ons kind of
breakpoint for Ashes.
Yes.
Yeah. What is? Okay, so this is like some really weird back to front that SPG are doing.
Oh, good mechanic.
There is yeah, this is really nice from us. The truth is like we're not seeing any empowered punches and we're seeing no dive come in onto the Zen. After the immortality field is expired, the Zen should be a pretty free kill, but we're not seeing any real run through onto the exactly.
And now at this point, Zen has a chance. So he gets a get out of jail free card, even if he does overextend and SPG finally decides to jump in on him.
I mean, this is looking like a full cap. Even with the blade and overclock, like there's no nano on it, so you can't punch through Transcendence. And by the time they're getting so staggered out here. Okay, they get a kill. Chorong finally dies, but I mean the map's almost over.
And like I guess really good discipline from Chorong here. He like a lot of Zens would have been tempted to press the Transcendence for saving his own life here, but he knows that the team is already winning that fight, and the only I guess variable that they will have is going to be the blade, which
has gotten kite. One kill.
Okay, so they have to fall back.
They don't have to reset these things. They get A
don't.
as well. Oh no! The lamppost.
Oh man.
Oh my word.
So this is what I'm trying to say here. The Tracer gets immensely more value just because of the Zen. Did you look at that damage?
They're gonna full cap 2v4. No.
This is even after that headshot kill on Aiden. Oh my goodness.
No, this should not be happening. This is. I mean, I know the Zen is. I know what the Zen's power is, but like this should not be happening.
Oh my god, Charles gonna feel so good, and Vigilante is gonna be, where's my Zen now?
No wait, they lose this fight.
Do they?
Yeah.
Do they? No. No.
No! Still alive! No! My God! Come on. Okay, well, GG, go next.
No, there is no next. SPG goes home.
Actually, can we? How many meters did SPG get on that map? Was it 100 to 0?
0.
It was. It was literally 0. Oh my God.
Oh, that's gotta be.
That is a complete shutout on Esperanza.
Oh my god, that's gonna be.
Okay.
SPG is gonna wake. I know that this match has been like a few days ago, like I think almost a week ago now. I don't know, but SPG is still gonna wake up tomorrow and feel it. Oh my god. Oh. I really like the Zen pick though. Like on a more serious note. Okay, I'll listen.
Okay, I think that. I mean, SPG also only took 3 fights in that entire map.
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Okay, so I'm not convinced that the Zen is like an actual meta pick yet. Mm-hmm. I think it needs more reps to like truly bring me along. I will say this: there is an element of like a surprise factor, right? Like the cheese factor. Zen's not a cheese character, but like the cheese factor, if that makes sense.
Yes, I understand.
Where you're not expecting that rollout, where you're not expecting that's a composition that we have not seen yet, right? Maybe I think at that point in time, maybe you just don't identify who your target is, and so you approach the fight expecting a certain character
You have
or certain
Zen.
setup.
How is that not a target? No, I'm sorry, I'm joking, but no.
But I mean, that's my question. Like that is my question. You see the Zen. How is that not your target? And maybe they're just not expecting the Zen to come out. So by the time they recognize that play, they've already committed to their engage, and it's too little, too late. And then by the time they get that second fight, well, there was so much damage put down early that
Yeah.
ISOHAN had all their ultimates, right? So you snowball that fight too. Okay, cool. And then now SPG are just in disarray.
Yeah.
And things fall apart.
After that, Dragon Blade fight went wrong for the SPG. I think it was just like they kind of like half gave up.
Yeah.
But I still think that it's still. I think
I like the logic you provided for the Zen, right? Like it's not like I hate the composite. It's not a composition that I hate in and of itself. I'm just not convinced that it's going to be consistently successful.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Definitely.
I think it's
going to be
downsides.
also map dependent as well.
Yeah.
Also, like, I don't think that it's also a composition that ISOHAN would be throwing in a map 5 in a elimination series.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But
I think also like Esperanza specifically, it works for the Zen. Well, the first fight, it's like really it's a gambit. And I think because SPG didn't know it was coming, they weren't set up for it. The second fight, though, even as we're talking about like the alt kind of rotation, Zen on the high ground is naturally harder to stage against, right? Any high ground low or any dive low to high ground is going to be difficult, right? So you mitigate some of the Zen's vulnerability, and then that obviously snowballs in. So I agree that map dependency is a huge part of it. Like if you're in a flat map, like if you're on Lijiang Tower, I don't think the Zen is going to work.
Yep,
right?
I don't even think Samoa is gonna work. Most of the control maps are not gonna like work well for Zen.
Yeah, I think like the closest map that I can think of outside, I mean,
Busan maybe.
yeah, I was gonna say like maybe Blizzard World, like maybe you could get away with it there. I don't think it works on Midtown. Even though there's high ground, it's too easy to dislodge the high ground as a dive character.
Yeah.
Um,
No, I don't see it being a thing in Midtown. I would say out of the map pools that we have, maybe Mecha Base and Busan. I don't know.
yeah, but even Mecha Base is like still like Brig is just better.
Yeah, I can see it. Like again, I think this is gonna be more like a. I'm not saying that this is gonna be like the meta breaker or. Like,
Yeah.
But I think it should be. I think it's something that it's definitely that ISOHAN can go home and they're like, hey, we might actually like kind of like play this every once in a while. Like,
yeah. I think it's an interesting pick. I think it's also one of those comps that like can be counterpicked against. But you know what? At that point in time, it's already done its job, right? You've thrown your opponent into an off rhythm. So yeah, it's definitely interesting. There are times where we see characters picked where we're like, that is not like, you know what? Sorry, you're catching strays here, Sunjin, but the Junkrat, like that just ain't it. In terms of like the setup, it just hasn't had success. In terms of like the actual tournament gameplay.
It's such a shame. If he is, I would. Oh, he is Sunjin. I would like you to comment on what he said. No.
I mean, okay. For context, anytime I say something doesn't work, I'm speaking specifically from tournament play. I've never seen a team pick something in a tournament that they hadn't at least shown in scrims at some point, where it had some success, right? But the evidence has not been given to me in tournament play, so that's all I can speak from.
Yeah, sure. That's totally fair. And I know that you're not speaking out of hate or spite of any of these players. I know you love all the players, as do I. So no worries about that. Let's kind of talk about ISOHAN in general before we close the stream out today. By the way, this is going to be all the matches that we've covered because we already covered a lot of ISOHAN matches on the other streams, other team streams as well. I think, like, personally, I really like this team, not only just because I just like all the players here. Like, Callius specifically, he's like he has good work ethic, and he's like, I've worked with him at the New York Excelsior in the 2021 season. He's just a good guy that, like, like he's just a good person, and I would like him to see him succeed. Not that I'm like I'm just like playing favorites here. I have a lot of players that I really like Hong Namjoon on Team Runaway as well, Kellen and Team 815 as well. Like I all wish them success, so it's just not like a exclusive like playing favorites thing, but I just like this team in general. But if you just look at it at like a spectator point of view, they have a very high, and but at the same time they have very concerning lows as well.
Yeah. And obviously now the rest of the games that are being played out are December 2nd and 3rd, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
The games coming in. So we'll see them on stream, right? The Korean broadcast. So that's gonna be cool.
Yes, and we will be having English and French co-streams as well.
Cool. Yeah, so we'll be able to see like how 815, ISOHAN, Runaway, Poker Face do. And I think O2 High School and Hamster will also be playing theirs on December 2nd, right?
Correct.
So yeah, we'll have 3 games, and then we'll know who's going to be in the grand finals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting that lower. So basically, the team that goes to the lower bracket final, that'll be our top 3, and we'll know. Those will be the representatives going to Korea, or going to the LAN, I suppose.
Yes.
With Korea, from Korea. There we go.
Yes. So if we take another look at the bracket here, these two teams, OTO High School and Hamster, are already guaranteed as the two teams, top 2 teams that will be not top 2 teams, but the 2 teams that will represent Korea in the EPIC finals. The team that wins in the lower bracket semifinal will also be guaranteed a spot as potentially 2nd or 3rd. Well, maybe even 1st as well, if they make it all the way to the grand finals.
Yeah, it's possible. Yep.
So, but whoever wins this lower bracket final, this is going to be on December 3rd. This is going to be the first match of the day. This is going to determine who is going to be who's going to be taking the last ticket to the WDG Esports studio in Seoul. And the rest of it is going to be seeding stakes, which is also pretty important because of course this will be revealed later on, but I'm not like spilling all the details because I respect NDAs and also my job. But seeding, like you will have a significantly, I guess, easier group. If you are seated first. So.
And they will be joining DAF, Veryl, and what's the second
Vesta
Japanese team? Vesta Group. That's right. Okay, so those are the 3 that are confirmed from Southeast Asia, the APAC section, and then Japan, obviously.
Mm-hmm. So DAF, top team from APAC, Southeast Asia, will be making it to already locked in. And Vesta Crew is actually Invincibles. So they rebranded to Vesta Crew.
Okay.
So
yeah, so that's those are our representatives from Japan, and obviously Korea. We're still waiting on our last team to be highlighted, which we'll figure out on Sunday.
Yep.
Well, Sunday for me.
Sunday for you, Saturday for us. So Saturday.
Or other way around. Sorry, Friday night / Saturday
because
morning.
we live in the future, LaFine. No, I'm just joking. But unfortunately, we will have to see 3 out of Team 815, ISOHAN, Runaway, and Poker Face. Like, to be honest, like I believe that all of these teams deserve to play some LAN. But anyways, we have to say goodbye to 3 of these teams.
I think right now, looking at this, 815 and Poker Face are arguably the 2 front runners in the lower bracket quarters. Based on the performances we've seen from the replays, right? But I think it's pretty close.
I would say it's pretty close. And Poker Face we haven't will the Poker Face games be covered or has been covered? I don't think that we'll cover a lot of Poker Face games for a variety of reasons. Number one, I don't think we'll have the time to cover Poker Face games before these weekend matches happen, and also there are some other external issues, reasons that kind of uh not say make it impossible for us to cover Poker Face, but kind of dissuade us from covering Poker Face, if that makes sense. Well, if we do have the time and circumstances for it, we will. It's definitely not on the top of our priority list at the current moment. But looking at, I mean, just coming back to your point, LaFine, I think, I think like in terms of flexibility, Poker Face might actually be one of the front runners to actually make it happen because Team 815, yes, they have a awesome roster, but we also saw some games where they were making some very questionable decisions. Like, I think Team 815 and ISOHAN share the same strengths and weaknesses. They have very high highs and also
Mhm.
some very head scratching moments.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's a fair. I think that's a fair assessment.
But for
Um,
Runaway, it's a little bit of a different weakness for them.
well, Runaway's issue is that they just can't get off dive.
Yes, exactly. They just can't. Everyone in the world knows what Runaway is gonna play, and
I will say though, Mag can play Junker Queen, and we have seen Junker Queen end up getting used.
and the Ramattra
And some Ramattra.
Reinhardt.
Right? So it's not like Runaway is for. I think Runaway will have had to have used this time off, right? The week from like the gap from last week to now to have added a couple more styles in. Because if they show up running exclusively Doomfist, as they have been to this point, then this is likely going to be the end of their run.
Yes, exactly. I agree. I 100% agree. Like as much as like this is totally we're having like personal preferences entirely off here. We're just talking about like purely gameplay. Runaway has a very decent dive. Like they look strong on the dive. But if um especially at this level of competition, at this kind of like stage of the tournament, when you know what your opponent is going to run 100% and you just plan around countering it, you just like consider nothing except just countering the opponent's like setup,
Yeah.
then you can make your you can make your opponent look like fools.
Well, there's also the aspect that this is not if you like. There's times where like playing 100% the meta is like or 100% of comp isn't fine because it's a mirror meta all the time, right? Like when we were back in the Junker Queen meta, right? Like when she first came out, like everyone knew what you were going to run, but it didn't matter because you were going to run it too.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
We are not in that position now. The composition that Runaway is best at is not the most powerful composition in all aspects of the game. So it is counterable and you can prep for your opponent. And on top of that, Runaway will not know what their opponent is going to bring to the table. That's the other aspect. Runaway has to prep for multiple outcomes, whereas other teams only have to prep for one.
And also, like, it's really rough for Runaway in that sense because Poker Face is able to play a lot of styles. Like Bellis Freya, we've seen him in Soul, that we've seen a lot of Risa from him, we've seen a lot of Doomfist from him as well. We see a lot of Reinhardt, like the traditional, what we would label as the traditional main tank role. And then we have Peppy, who has been showing in contenders that he is a very decent Sigma. So,
Yeah.
of course, you would know right before the map, depending on who's gonna play, but it's gonna be a little bit trickier for Runaway in a sense that they have different gears. Poker Face has different gears to throw at them.
Yeah, I mean, nonetheless, it's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be some exciting games.
Yeah, I am definitely excited to see all the teams kind of prep up and kind of like see how they, I guess, try to improve from their current weaknesses, because I know that these teams are very good, and also most of the teams here have coaches. Oh, by the way, I don't know if XERO has a coach or not, but
I think they do. I believe they have a couple.
so I'll be definitely interested to see. So also, last shout out that we will be having different coach teams with different languages on different languages. We will also be having some other more experienced people. Well, I mean, not discrediting LaFon, he's great, he's the goat. But there will be a lot of more experienced people than me that will be covering the replays for this as well. I know for a fact that Door is at least trying to do replays, and also Leg Day was also interested in doing replays. So I'll post a full list of co-streamers in different languages. We also have Hammer Kick on the French co-stream as well. So if you're a francophone or prefer to enjoy Overwatch esports on French, go check him out. And again, that's the end of the cover stream from me. Do you have any last comments before we want to close out, LaFon?
Drink some water. Yeah, that's about it.
All right, get hydrated. $1 million advice. I mean it. A lot of gamers are very, very dehydrated because you have too much Coke instead of water inside you. But anyway, thank you for this. Thank you, chat, for coming here. This VOD will be on my YouTube as on that channel where LaFine has pinned it, and I'll see you next time. I don't know when that is going to be, but I'll definitely let you know through my social channels. All right, so thank you and bye.